Morning to you all. I am Aditya Petwal, Assistant Director, Center for Responsible Business, and I am very excited to welcome our guests for today's LinkedIn Live session, Dr. Ruchika Singh, WRI, Director, Landscape Restoration Program, WRI, and our colleague, Mr. Siddharth Idike, Senior Manager, Landscape Restoration Program. So today's LinkedIn Live session is being created as a teaser to our program on 3rd of November, Bamboo Value Chain for Construction Sector, Learnings, Insights, and Way Forward. This program will be organized between 4:15 to 5:45 at Eros Hotel, New Delhi. But we will also be broadcasting this program through virtual channels, and so if the viewers and audience want to attend it virtually, so they will also have that flexibility. Now let me briefly introduce the guest for today. Dr. Ruchika Singh leads the Sustainable Landscape and Restoration Program at WRI, World Resources Institute. She provides the strategic leadership, research guidance, and develop pathways to transit towards the sustainable food and land use systems in India. I welcome Dr. Ruchika and Siddharth. I also welcome you. So I have few questions that we can discuss on about this program. So I'd like to understand first from Dr. Ruchika, as this program on bamboo value chain is linked to the climate smart forestry, forest economy or bio-based economy program. Would you like to talk a little bit about this global or regional initiative, and also elaborating on the objectives of this initiative? Maybe also the key potential stakeholders associated with this program.
Thanks, Aditya, and thanks for inviting us for this conversation today. Center for Responsible Business, of course, is a key partner, and the work that we're doing in India on exploring development of the value chain alliance on bamboo, we're co-developing it. So I'd like to kind of start with acknowledging that, and to kind of for the audience to talk a little bit more about the Climate Smart Forest Economy Program globally. The idea started with, how do we sort of think about realizing and reimagining the full potential of forests and their forest products in context of the built environment that we have, and maximizing essentially it as a major climate solution, if I may say so. And how do we kind of think about a global transition around that? So essentially the focus is on galvanizing a movement so that we can have the right balance essentially of knowledge generation, demonstrating solutions through on-ground initiatives, as well as convening different actors, focusing on forest. The global work focuses essentially on forest, and I'll come in a minute on how we are slightly different, how we've been sort of thinking about developing and designing it in the Indian context in terms of, globally focuses on enhancing forests. How do we think about incentives, individuals, communities, etc. around it, and the boosting demands for sustainable forest products. Sure. And, the larger sort of framework within which the CSFEP or the Climate Smart Forest Economy Program works is in terms of sinks, which is sinks as forest, storing, carbon in timber products, and as substitute for construction. So there is this sort of larger focus on can there also be a sort of substitution or avoiding emissions by reducing carbon intensive material in construction sector. So in the Indian context, we've been sort of, when we talk about it's more a climate smart restoration economy program than forest economy program is what as we've sort of learned along the way as we started working on this, given the larger potential for forest restoration is outside forest areas, and we've been exploring on how we think about bamboo based value chain around that. So the key stakeholders involved are in the globally on the CSFEP side, there are, key research institutions. There, different countries, of course, have different breakthrough initiatives. There are research institutes, different sort of architects, planners, etc. So it's a mix depending on, different countries, etc. Back to you.
Sure. Thank you. Certainly, as you said, this process was certainly so much of brainstorming among ourselves in consultation with the experts, and also full of learnings. And so in that sense, I'll also pose the next question to Siddharth. So we, as we started with the with the larger vision of, impacting the wood as a sector. And then we were working around the ideas of, which commodity to choose, and we zeroed down on bamboo. So would you like to throw some light to reflect why bamboo specifically, and uh, how do you see it as a sectoral solution under this program? Also, if you could also share a brief about the process that we actually had taken and several consultations.
Yeah, thanks, Aditya. So just following up on what Ruchika said about the global CSFEP program and the overall objectives that we had. As you have also rightly pointed out, we started our study with the larger goal of finding sustainable wood and tree species. But then why we zeroed down on bamboo was because we sort of developed these sustainability indicators, which looked at ecological, social, and economic parameters. And bamboo was the most suited species or candidate for this. Why? Because as we all know, that bamboo is removed from the category of tree in 2017. This was done by amending the Indian Forest Act. So obviously, this is the greatest enabler as far as the regulatory mechanism is concerned. And now bamboo can be grown outside forest. It has minimal restrictions when it comes to transit and felling. So this was one of the key reasons why we picked bamboo.
Sure.
Also, it has high carbon sequestration potential. There are several studies. One of the studies says that on an average, 1 hectare of bamboo can absorb up to 17 tons of carbon per year. So that's again a very high carbon potential, very good from the ecological perspective. It's endogenous, regrows on its own. The harvest cycle is just of 1 to 4 years, as opposed to other tree species like teak, which need a harvest cycle of 20 to 25 years. So the farmers can, gain profits from this in a much shorter time. As we all know, it's an indigenous species. It occurs in many parts of the country naturally. The survival rate is 99%, even on degraded soils and steep slopes. It supports diversity, arrests soil erosion. Also, we know that traditionally bamboo it has a very high tensile strength, even if you compare it to timber or concrete. So it can be a very potential, candidate if you compare cement or any other material that's used currently. And it has tremendous scope in ecotourism, in penthouses, rooftops, both high-end housing as well as low-cost housing, because traditionally it's been used in the northeast part of India. You can see that a lot of houses are made of bamboo. The process that we followed, it was a very systematic process. We first mapped all the key stakeholders related to this wood-based and bamboo-based value chain alliance. Then we conducted a national stakeholder consultation. This was in March 2022. We had good participation from about 30 participants. Then we also conducted series of online one-to-one consultations because due to COVID, we couldn't travel everywhere. And from the national consultation and these one-on-one consultations that we had, we narrowed down on bamboo as a commodity for the reasons that I just stated. And then we had very focused regional consultations, one in Northeast India and another one in Central India, because these are like the main hubs for bamboo. And then we narrowed down finally on Central India because we could see a lot of potential. And obviously, once in the session itself, we'll be talking more about our exciting findings. And so I would not open all the cards now. Thank you so much.
Yeah. No, certainly. Thanks for, giving all nicely capturing the whole process and how we zero down to this key commodity. And I'll come back to Dr. Ruchika, as you just spoke about these, the session and the knowledge that is packed in that session. So, Dr. Ruchika, would I request you to reflect a little bit on the program of November 3rd, in the sense, how do you see, what kind of objectives have you identified while organizing, as we are organizing this program, and what kind of outcomes do we want to pull out of this program?
Thanks, Aditya. And so just to follow up on what Siddharth mentioned, so, we spent the last few months doing a lot of comprehensive discussions through stakeholder consultations as well as one-to-one interviews, etc. Got a really, really insightful inputs from partners. And there was also a lot of, everyone welcomed the idea, because essentially the idea is to explore if, developing a value chain alliance on bamboo. Well, we started with wood, as Siddharth said, and focused on bamboo now. And I think this has got really positive feedback. And this is the last of the series of workshop. And I think this is the national level consultation and report back, if I can say so, that doing at the CRB's ISS event. And the idea is to kind of elaborate first report in terms of the key information, findings, and insights that have come from our regional consultations, and also sort of learnings based on discussion with different key stakeholders in terms of the use of bamboo in the construction sector. What are the enablers? What are the challenges? And how do we sort of bring and build a stronger connection among different stakeholders for continued engagement by forming a strong value chain alliance? So essentially, at the event, we would be reporting back. We would be discussing a bit more on some of these insights. So we have most of our discussions, during our regional consultations, focused on demand policy and the supply side, sort of both enablers and barriers. So even for this, meeting that we have on third, our focus is on having a diverse set of speakers to kind of reflect on, some of these conversations. So we have someone from Aga Khan Agency for Habitat, Ms. Sana Dharani. She, in fact, they are leading one of the breakthrough initiatives of the Climate Smart Forest Economy program in India, where their focus is focusing on developing low-cost housing using wood. So essentially, they will be, talking about some of their learnings from practical experience of building this. We have Mr. Sanjeev Karpe, who's director at Konkan Bamboo and Cane Development Center, and bringing a lot of insights in terms of across the value chain. When you are doing work, then what sort of what works, what doesn't, and how do we sort of look towards key issues when we take forward. We also have, because as we mentioned, essentially the focus is on looking at alternate construction material for some more sustainable construction material, right? And if bamboo can be an alternative. So we also will hear from Ms. Neelam Manjunath, who comes from Mansaram Architects, in terms of their learnings, because they've been using, in fact, in their own products, in their own designs, a lot of sustainable material, including bamboo. And of course, Sangeeta Agasti, who sort of will talk from a more policy and the larger sort of, perspective in terms from International Bamboo and Rattan Organization, or INBAR, on what really, is the scope of using bamboo, and, what are the challenges, but also enablers. Coming to the last point on of your question around the outcomes, essentially we have, as I said, our focus and aim is to leave the viewers with a broader understanding of challenges and opportunities around bamboo value chain that exist, and also have a larger discussion and stakeholder engagement to encourage essentially the mainstreaming of bamboo in construction and allied sectors. So essentially those are the two bigger outcomes that we are looking from this session, and looking forward to that discussion, in 2 weeks.
Sure. I think you both have given several of points to already inspire and motivate several of the stakeholders who are currently watching, or maybe watching this LinkedIn Live session later. But my last question to both of you would be, if you could also reflect on, or if you could, give any key message towards the end of this program, so as to motivate, the larger number of audiences and stakeholders to attend our program. Any key message that you would like to say about the, of course, you have already talked about the uniqueness of this program, but any one-liner that?
Maybe I can start and then
Yeah.
Siddharth can comment. No, the only message that I have is come join us. This is a really important session. We would like to discuss, engage with you and talk about how to build a climate smart restoration economy, starting with bamboo and key value chain actors. And there's a lot to learn. I think this is just the beginning, and there'll be a lot of learning, unlearning along the way, but we are really excited and would welcome inputs through discussions, etc. So come join us. Thank you.
Sure.
Thanks. So just to add to what Ruchika is saying, I think this session is very, very important because as we know that this government's impetus is a lot on Atmanirbhar Bharat. And that's the reason why a use of bamboo, and if you grow more bamboo, use more bamboo, which I just said, it's really good from social, environmental, ecological, every point of view, then you just reduce your import bills. So it's a good platform to discuss the strategy and make most of the push that even the government is trying to give us. So it will be great to put our heads together, overcome the existing barriers and chart out a way forward. So that's what I would say. Over to you.
Certainly. So thank you so much to both of you for participating in this LinkedIn live session. And again, I would like to request all the audiences, viewers, and people who will be seeing this later on to participate during our program. So it's the session is Bamboo Value Chain for Construction Sector, Learnings, Insights, and Way Forward. We'll be organizing this program during the ISS conference on 3rd of November between 4:15 to 5:45 p.m. as per to India Standard Time. So look forward to meet several of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.